Okay, so I decided to make a really good Beat Saber tutorial in YouTube. I'm gonna make a video in my phone to give you this tutorial because I think that it's about time that we had some tutorial for this game that is something that is really covering everything that we need to know, and that is really going to give us a lot of tips that will help us or anyone that begins playing the game to get better at the game, to score higher, to tackle and crack all these different modes, which are pretty hard at the beginning. They feel really difficult. So I am going to tell you all the things I figured out to make it easier, to do better at it. And I am going to basically give you that tutorial that I would have loved to see at the very beginning when I was starting that game, that training, which is pretty much like a sport. The game and getting better at the Beat Saber VR game feels a lot like getting better at a sport. So just like a sport, there are tips that can help you. There are some ways that will help you to cut down the time it takes to get better at the game. So before I begin, I wrote everything here that I want to cover because I want to make sure that I don't leave any tip out. I watched the other tip videos in YouTube and I don't feel they're covering everything. So I'm gonna cover everything that I learned, which includes what those other videos and those users already told you in those videos. So basically, if I was in an actual presentation place, I would just learn all of this and I wouldn't read anything from anywhere. But since I'm right now sitting at a chair where I live, it doesn't really matter. So I'm not gonna read, but I'm gonna use all of this as reference. So first, why am I qualified to give you good advice on how to do great at this game? Who am I? I play in PSVR. Here's the motion controller that I'm gonna use to teach you something. I've had the game for longer than 1 year. I think it was the first VR game that I got, so obviously I went crazy with that game. I loved it and I played it a lot. But I also used the game to warm up for exercising. And any day where I didn't exercise, what I did was just playing a little more of the game, which I loved. I really enjoyed it. So basically I ended up playing for like the whole year, like on average, like at least like 20 minutes every day of the game. On average, there were days that I didn't play, but then there were also days that I played for like 1 hour. So in total, during this, it's longer than 1 year. I've had it for like 13 months, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly. But in total, I have it in the clock for the game 180 something hours. So I've had a lot of training in it. I've played every mode. I've passed every level from every mode except 3 of them, I think. Obviously Ghost is one of the Ghost Expert Plus and Overkill Expert Plus in the 90 degrees mode are among the ones that I didn't pass, even now. that already tells you how crazy those things are. But everything else I have been able to, in one way or another, figure out or go through it. Some of them using a slower song, like in the Camellia Expert Plus songs, the ones I managed to pass, it was using slower song. So it was not at the normal speed, but that is allowed. So you can do that. I've played the game for a long time. Even more important, I not only got the Platinum Trophy and got all the trophies for that. That was actually last year. That wasn't in the first few months when I got it. But I also landed in several top 10 high scores in the PSVR version. So there, I think it was in all the modes except Expert Plus. Expert Plus is too crazy, even for me. Even for someone that landed in all the other modes. But I got there in easy. I still have like 2 or 3 in easy, I think, that haven't, they haven't disappeared. because there are a lot of people that are getting really good at this game. I still have several in normal, I think, and in hard mode, and I have like 3 or 4 in expert maybe. Yeah, it's around there somewhere. My username is ValkerianCreator. Why did I pick that username? Because I like writing stories. I like being an author as a hobby. So that's why I named myself ValkerianCreator. And the Valkerian word is because it's something that I was, planning to use for, the people of a planet in one of my science fiction stories. So that's what I named myself, in the PS4, in the PSVR, in the games, ValkerianCreator. So that's me. So now I'm gonna give you a tutorial. Someone that got into the top 10s in PSVR, someone that, played the game for a long time. I've had it for longer than 1 year, played for longer than 100 hours, and I have been able to pass, all the difficulties, not all the levels, but I have been able to almost, not conquer, but I have been able to pass almost everything there. I have gotten SS ranks even in Expert Plus, obviously not in the Camellia songs, obviously, but I have been able to get SS even in Expert Plus. So it's, I have enough experience to know what is good and what can work for other people that are beginning now. Because when I also began, I wasn't that great at it. So I had to learn. So I'm gonna share with you all the things that were useful for me. Now that you know who I am, so you can trust what I'm recommending. If you're in PSVR, I don't know about PC. If there's any difference there, I have no idea. So first I'm gonna give you recommendations. Number 1, for beginners, you're going to want, I don't use it anymore. I had it at the beginning. I just took them out and don't use it anymore because I already have such good reflexes with these things playing the game that even in Expert Plus, if I don't have the wrist wraps on, I know that I won't let go of the controller. I know that I won't let go of the controller, and it's my reflexes with holding these controllers. I'm glad that they're not real swords, because if they were, that would be a menace with them. The reflex I have with them is that I can even feel in the middle of an Expert Plus song when they are like sleeping only a little bit, and I correct it, in the middle of the notes, and I just know that I don't let go of them. But new people that are starting with the game, you definitely need to get wrist wraps, some type of them that you can put here in the motion controllers and put them on your wrist. And if you get any visitor, please don't give them Beat Saber and these motion controllers if they don't use the wrist wraps, because they're gonna break your TV or anything at your house there in that room. Because when you're a beginner and you say, oh, I'm so great, and you put it in expert mode, and you go into expert mode, it's too crazy. And you might think that you can do it, you might go crazy to see if you can do it, and what's gonna happen is that you won't realize it, and you run the risk of letting go of the controller and something's gonna break. The controller is gonna go flying because it's really hard, and you still don't have the reflexes for that at the beginning. But people want to do it because people want to, yeah, I'm so great, I'm gonna do Expert Plus right now, first try. Or expert, normal expert mode is really hard at the beginning too. Even someone that plays hard mode, the first day that they're playing Beat Saber for the first time, I can see someone like that also dropping a controller or letting go of a controller in hard mode at the very beginning, when they're starting with that. So please, for yourself and for other people, and especially for visitors, if someone comes to where you live and you are gonna give them those motion controllers and Beat Saber and those games, because you know how great of an experience it is at the very beginning, don't give them anything if they don't put the wrist wrap on, because they're gonna break your TV, and it is not on purpose. If you're not used to holding this in a way that you're not gonna let go no matter what, it just happens. It's an accident, it happens. So with time, it's not gonna happen, but at the beginning it will. So please get wrist, not wraps, wrist straps. Wrist straps for yourself. After you have played it for a long time and you're really good, you can take them out. But I recommend not doing that for Expert Plus. It's for your TV's own good, so you don't break it. Okay, so that's okay for all. Sweatbands. So you're gonna sweat with Beat Saber. You're gonna sweat. So you want something like this, something that you can put on your head, your forehead, and then you're gonna put the headset on top of this thing, and that's gonna absorb almost all the sweat. So it's gonna be nicer for you to play like that. It's gonna be better for the headset because then your sweat's not falling there. You're not gonna break it in the long term. Or if you don't break it, it's not gonna smell like pig, like mine once did. That's why I bought this, because I thought, you know what? I need to fix this. I like this thing smelling good. So I just got a set of these sweatbands, headbands. They are, I think they are brand Binswear, Binsguir. They have worked really well for me, so I highly recommend it. There are other brands at Amazon. I bought one of the others and it wasn't that great. So I just ended up using this one. This is the best one I found, and they sell it in a pack of 4, I think, so you have plenty. So if you use it and it's full of sweat, you just remove it and you put on another one, and then you wash that one with a nice soap that smells good. And let me tell you, your headset is gonna smell like that too. So you're gonna love it. You know, if you're like clean freak, like Captain Levi from Attack on Titan, and like me, you're gonna love this. So please get those headbands and, you know, wash them with a good soap, and you're gonna love the way that makes the headset smell. This is a general recommendation. You can do as you wish, but for the game, doesn't matter if you're a beginner or not. There are a lot of people that recommend, especially for Expert Plus and the harder levels, using your wrists a lot. I don't recommend playing in a way where you're using your wrist or bending your wrist to swing the saber. I recommend that you actually swing the saber. You know, move your shoulder, your elbow, do a real swing as if it was with a real saber, with a real, you know, lightweight sword, small sword. I think it's better for exercising. I think it is a better technique for the game in the long term. I think that people that use their wrists too much, or they only use their wrist, are going to injure themselves in Expert Plus. So I don't recommend it. It's not that you cannot use them. You can use them. You will be forced to use them in the harder levels, like Expert Plus stuff, because there's too much. So there's a point where you just need to use something else, and then you begin using a little bit of the wrist more to get an advantage. But I don't recommend using the wrist only for anyone, and it is just for your own good to avoid injuries. There was a time when I even thought about quitting Expert Plus completely, because I realized I also began to get in the bad, in the bad. I was getting not used to using wrist more in Expert Plus, not used to it, but I was getting used to actually, one of my hands, I think it was this one, I was using the wrist more, and then I was going to do push-ups, you know, not that day, but another day I was going to do push-ups, and I realized that it was actually affecting me a little bit in the push-up. Like I was feeling like a little hurt there in the wrist, and it was because of Beat Saber. So I just stopped doing it and started to get used to actually not I think I got something in my eye, so great, in the middle of this stuff. Let me take this away. In 1 minute, I will be back. So yeah, such a lucky guy. In the middle of the presentation, I get a full hair on my eye. So I took it away just there, but I needed a mirror to be able to do that. So yes, it's not that you cannot use your wrist. It's just that if you focus on using them, you're going to injure yourself, especially in Expert Plus. So it's better to not get used to that and to actually get used to doing, you know, full swings, use your elbows, use your, you know, everything. Use move around. It's actually even better for exercising. Okay, so now we're gonna begin with the real stuff. So that's just general, that's for everyone. So now I'm gonna tell you and teach you a few tips, some useful things on how to score higher. So you want to score higher in Beat Saber, you want to be the Beat Saber guy at your house that has the highest score, or among your friends. Or maybe you're really ambitious about this, like I once was, and you want to get into those top 10s. So well, I'm gonna tell you how I did it. So we're gonna go little by little, so everyone can do this. So tips from settings. Obviously, everyone knows this, but I'm gonna mention it, even though I barely use it. But you can go to the player settings and you can adjust everything. You can use the background that makes you feel best, the one that you like. You can change colors. You don't have to use the red and blue sabers. You can use your favorite colors if you want. I only tried it a few times, and at the end I didn't use it anymore. I didn't really care about changing the colors, and I was so used to the, you know, blue and red and blue. So I just stayed like that, but I can see it helping some people to actually do a little better in the level, because they are playing with the background that they enjoy more. They are playing with their favorite colors, so I can see it helping. But that's, you know, that's very little. You're gonna get a lot more from my other tips, not from this. The debris. Everyone recommends this, so I'm gonna recommend it too, because I think it does help a little. So there's an option there in the player settings where you can reduce debris. So what that does is that when you cut the cube, so I'm gonna be using to refer to the cube, a Rubik's cube with a white triangle. So we got the blue here and we got the red here with the Rubik's cube. So what's gonna happen is that when you cut with the reduced debris setting on, it's not gonna show you the parts of the cube breaking. And when you're in levels that have too many cubes, like in some expert mode levels, especially in Expert Plus, and also in the no arrows levels, especially in hard mode and expert mode, there are too many cubes on screen. And especially with the drumming, so when you have to do those drummings with too many cubes, and that there is really covers the whole thing. So if you remove it, you can see a little bit better. But it only helps a little. So don't think that because you remove the debris, you're gonna be scoring a lot more and you're gonna be hitting many more. It will help a little, but it's still not enough, and still a very little recommendation to help you get much better. Okay, so now we're gonna begin with the stuff that is going to begin to help. And everyone can do this from the beginning. You don't need any training from this. The height setting. So at the beginning, not in the player settings, but when you enter in the first screens, there's settings there. You go to settings and you can change the player setting up and down. Here's a very good recommendation that really helped me at the beginning. Maybe now, not so much, because when you get very skilled, they can change the height and you still hit the cues right. And you still hit with a high score, but at the very beginning, this helped me so much. You don't have to play at your own height. You can go there in the high setting And if you realize that raising the cubes a little higher for you or a little lower for you helps you to score more and to hit them better, change that height and play with a different height that is not yours. Doesn't matter. The game doesn't care about that. No one cares about that. So something that helped me, well, I was realizing like, a long time ago, months ago, that I was having difficulty hitting the cubes that were coming from below. The ones that I had to hit from above, I didn't have any problem with them, and I was hitting with very high scores, like 110 points. But the ones that were, where you had to basically hit, I think like this, right? You had to hit from below, like that. I had trouble hitting those with high scores. But I also had the high setting in a way where the cues were a little too close to the bottom for me, so I even had to like crouch to hit them from below. So I changed the high setting. What that does is it lifts all the cues higher or lower. It doesn't lift you higher or lower, you're still standing in the same place, but the cubes are gonna change the height. So it lifts all the cubes higher for me. And then when I was playing with the cube higher there, I didn't have to crouch anymore. So I could hit it much easier, and I began to do better with those. So it was because I changed the height. Positioning. The positioning of you and the positioning of the camera. This is important. So the positioning, first of all, what do I use? I'm gonna post before this one a few demo videos so that you can see me playing and getting the double S ranks, and I also did one for Expert Plus, and you will be seeing me doing well in the game so that you can see that, I'm talking from experience here. But right now I want you to watch one of those videos so that you can see what my camera and the iPhone tripod that I use for it look like while I'm playing. So I don't play in front of the TV. The TV is there, but on the side I got like an iPhone tripod, and there's where I put the camera. So I have the ability to grab that tripod and put it a little bit lower, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, a little bit higher, because it's not a TV, it's a tripod. That makes it really easy. And I can also change the supposed height for me by going to those settings. So I can play with those heights to really put the cubes in the game anyone I want, anywhere I want. I want them higher, I want them lower. I can just change the camera in the tripod, make it higher, lower, lower, higher. Or I can change my supposed height in the actual settings in the game. And I can play with that to change where the cubes are going to appear to make it easier or harder, depending where it is for me. So that's for the camera, for the PS4 camera, and for the settings. But you also need to look at your position where you are for you in the actual game. So in the game, you're standing on a square, and there are like footprints there on the floor, on the center. Let me see what I wrote here, but you should stand not exactly on those footprints, but a little bit further behind it. Not too much either, just like one step behind them, no more than that. Because the blocks, the best moment to hit the blocks is when they reach, they're coming to you. They reach the border of that rectangle on the floor. So if you're standing a little further behind on that rectangle, you have like a bigger space between when the block reaches the border of that rectangle and when it reaches you. It's not much bigger the space, but still something. It's a little bit. So that's why it helps many people to stand a little bit further behind and then hit from there. You can still do well standing on the actual footprints. I mean, it's not something that's going to be amazingly huge for a lot of people, but it's going to help, especially for someone that is beginning, or even someone that has played for 20 hours. It is going to help for sure. Okay, so that's your positioning according to the rectangle on the floor. Let me see what else. Okay, Okay, so how to hit right. When and where to hit. They should have told you this in the game, by the way. Okay, so how to hit right, when and where to hit. So when to hit the block. The block is coming at you. When do you want to hit it? It is when it reaches the area of that rectangle you have on the floor. But you're not going to be looking at the floor to the rectangle unless you're like crouching or something like that. In that case, you see it, so you know. I realize that it's easier to hit with more points when you're doing a big swing, you know, like not 180 degrees, but like 150 degrees maybe. When that block has entered that line of the rectangle on the floor. So even if you do the same swing, but further in the front, it doesn't seem to get as many points. Like, I think that makes a difference between getting 105 points and 112. And if you want to score higher, every point matters. So that helps. That has helped me. Okay, so when to hit at the moment when the block gets there to that area of the rectangle. Where to hit. Okay, so this is gonna be a simulation. In reality, you're holding the motion controller, but what it looks like to you there when you have the headset on is as if you had something like this in your hand, like a saber of this size, I think, and this shape. So how to hit or where to hit? You want to hit this center of this thing with a swing, you know, with a full swing like that, at the center of the saber, which will be like this part right here, when the block has entered the area of the big square on the floor. Even the first line over there in the front, when it reaches there, you go full swing through this center right here. And what helps to do that? Look at the square, obviously. You have to look at it, like you have to be looking at the square. Look at each individual square as it comes to you. I know that's not gonna be possible in the expert modes, but it is possible in easy, in normal, and after you practice a little, also in hard mode. Look at each individual block as you're gonna hit it, and concentrate on the triangle, not on the block, on the white triangle, and go for the center of that white triangle. You're gonna realize that when you're not looking at the block or the triangle, you don't hit for more points, and you're even more likely to miss hitting that block. Okay, so learning how to hit right and double S ranking. That's what everyone wants. Like, everyone wants to begin double S ranking everything in this game, which is really hard. I think only easy mode is easy at the beginning, but double S ranking is hard everywhere else until you practice enough time. Okay, so basically, for double S ranking, and this is very important because I also had that misconception. Most people think, oh, I just have to hit everything, full combo. That is incorrect. If you don't hit everything, if you hit everything and you're hitting like this, you're making like 70 points or 80 points out of the 115. So even if you get a full combo, you're not getting a double S rank, which is more than 90% of the possible points for all the blocks. So how do you get a double S rank? Even if you miss 1, 2, 3, even 4 blocks in the level. Learning how to hit the blocks on that level for 110 points. Or if you can, even more, you can get up to 115. So how do you do that? Okay, number one, look at the individual blocks. Look at them before you hit it. If you're not fast enough with your reflexes and with your eyes to look at them, you're probably not at that modes level yet. You have to play in an easier mode. So if you think, oh no, I cannot keep up with them, I cannot look at each single block, you need to lower the level. If you're doing it on hard, go to normal mode. If you're doing normal, play on easy. There's no shame for playing on easy. I train a lot on easy mode, and right now I even have some double S ranks in Expert Plus. But you have to begin getting good at the first step, which is the easiest one, and feel that you are mastering that step before you jump to the next one, which will be normal mode, and then the next, which is hard mode, and then, you know, on and on like that. So learning how to hit right and double S ranking, first, what I recommend, and I made one video just for this. There's one video I made there which I called practicing, something like that. I'm gonna put it here somewhere in the comments. I'm gonna put the link to it. Maybe if I don't do it in the description of the video, I'm gonna do it in the comments. Practicing the 115 point swings. So what did I do? I went to easy mode, and in easy mode I wasn't thinking about double S ranking or anything. I was just looking at each block as it came individually, and, you know, trying to hit. And as I was hitting, looking at the number that I was getting. What score did I get? Oh, I got 100 points for this one. Oh, I got 90 something for the other one. Oh, I got 110 for this one. And this one was like the other. What did I do different in this one that got me 110? Realizing what I did differently, and then trying to repeat that again in the next one. And if I repeated that again in the next one and I got another 110, I know this is the way to hit this better. So I began to try to hit more like that type of block. And I began to do that for all the different arrangements of the blocks, for the ones that were coming to you like this, for the ones that are upside down coming to you like this, for the ones that were, I think they were like that, right? Yeah, no. Yeah, like this or like that on the side. And obviously in later difficulties, you also need to begin to learn harder stuff, because they throw them like diagonally at you and from above. They throw them like this, something like that. No, not like that. Oh yeah, they're actually throwing like that in some levels, like in country rounds, Expert Plus, they throw them like that from above. So you have to go there, hit like from the top. So I began to play more easy mode, even though I was at expert mode level, in order to learn how to hit each individual block closer to 115 points. Obviously, after a while, I started to learn how to hit more for those points. You're not gonna hit all of them for 115 points. It's extremely hard, even if you already know how to do it. There will be some that you will miss, that's just the way it is. But if you're looking at each block individually, you're focused on hitting right there in the center of the triangle, and with the full swing through it, and at the right time when it comes into the square on the floor and through this part here, the center of the saber. If you do all that and you keep practicing in easy mode and looking at the points that you're getting for each block, you're gonna get better. But you need to have patience for that. And you get better, actually, you get better faster than you might think. But you just need to keep going with the program to get better at it. Okay, so that's easy mode, but easy mode is not gonna work for the arrangements, for the more difficult arrangements of blocks, like in Expert Plus and Expert Mode. So how do you practice those at a slower speed? How do you practice to get there's this expert mode level where you cannot get a double S because they're throwing at you, blocks coming from above like that, or something diagonal like that. And you don't find those ever in easy mode or in normal mode, or maybe not even in hard mode. Go to the practice mode. Each song in the options there has like a graduation hat symbol icon that you can click. If you click there, you go to the practice mode and you can play it at 50% speed. So play the level at 50% speed, and then there in that practice at 50% speed, concentrate on hitting all the different blocks, even those we have difficulty with, and not only learn how to hit them so that you don't miss them, but also learn how to hit them for as close as possible to 115 points. So yeah, learning new patterns, like when you get into expert mode and much later into expert plus, the hardest part is not just the fact that they are way faster, which is crazy. They also throw many new patterns that you had not seen before you. Like you were never hitting blocks diagonally coming from above and all that, and all of a sudden they throw that at you. So now you have to start getting used to those patterns, and the only way to do that is playing them a lot. So go to the practice mode for a level that has a lot of those patterns, like maybe Pop Stars Expert Plus, maybe. Put it at 50% speed and play it a lot so that you get used to hitting those new patterns of blocks that you had never hit before, even in the normal expert mode. So you need to tackle that. You need to tackle the new patterns and also the super higher speed. So there are two things there. Okay, how to get into the high scores or the top 10 in PSVR. This is pretty tough. Expert Plus, the Platinum Trophy is difficult, but if you're perseverant, it is doable. Even in less than 50 hours, for sure. Getting into Expert Plus is harder than the Platinum Trophy, but getting into these top 10s, I think it's getting even harder lately. It was easier 6 months ago. Maybe there were less good people playing the game, but right now it's getting even harder. So, but I'm gonna tell you what you have to do. So right now, we're talking June 2020. If you want to get into those top 10 scores for any level, even for the easy mode, because the crazy good people in the other modes are also the ones competing in the easy mode for the high scores, hitting everything with 110 points and more. So the only way you're gonna be able to get into this top 10 is number one, playing with faster song on and ghost notes on. Number two, getting a full combo. And number three, learning how to hit as close as possible every single block to 115 points. The most important out of all of those is learning how to play, for the top 10 scores, learning how to play in ghost notes and learning how to hit for 115 points. If you get those two, you can just get lucky someday and get a full combo, and that's where you're gonna get a higher score. So full combo is really hard. Full combo I can do right now without problems in easy mode, in normal mode, in hard mode. In expert, even though I'm really good at double S ranking, I still miss one, even two. In expert plus, even more. So a full combo is really hard, but you have potential to get into those top 10 scores if you're already hitting for high scores every block, and if you have been able to learn to play in ghost cubes. I'm gonna give you tips for that. So ghost cubes, and by the way, this is key if you want to get into those top 10 scores without frustrating yourself from how difficult it is. Begin on easy mode from the bottom. You don't need to get into the top 10 because it is really hard, but get to at least the top 50. If you can, the top 40, maybe in 35 or 30 in easy mode. When you get there in at least one easy mode level, then you can go to normal. And the same with normal. When you get there to the normal level, then you can try hard mode. But you need to begin practicing at the easier level, even for the top 10s. And the easier level is easy mode. So begin doing it on easy mode. When you see that you're getting really high scores in easy mode, maybe you're not in the top 10 because it is super hard. Even for me right now, the other day I tried it and I did really well in an easy mode level with faster zone and ghost nodes, and I was hitting almost everything for 110 points, I think. And I think I landed like in 12th place, so I didn't land in the top 10. It's really hard, but doesn't matter. Still aim for that and practice in the easy mode. When you see that you are in the top 50 in the easy mode in several levels, playing with ghost nodes and faster zone and all that, jump to normal mode. Same thing. After you get better there, jump to hard mode and like that, or little by little. They get more difficult. So it makes no sense to jump in trying to get into a top 10 in hard mode or in expert mode if you cannot even get into the top 100 in easy mode and normal mode. It doesn't make any sense, and you will just frustrate yourself. So don't do that. Begin from easy mode. Okay, tips for ghost nodes. Number one tip for ghost nodes: when it is approaching you and it disappears, when you see the triangle of the ghost node disappear, that's when you have to hit. Because based on the speed that it has when it's coming to you, when it disappears, it is when it is go through that square, and it is when you should be hitting it. Where are you gonna hit it? In the center of the triangle. But you're not gonna be seeing it in the exact moment because it disappeared. But that's when you have to hit it, when it disappears. You can listen to the song. It helps to listen to the song. But I think at the very beginning, when you're starting ghost nodes, which is really hard, you should start on easy mode. Begin playing ghost nodes on easy mode so you get used to it, and then go to normal and then to hard and all that. But begin with easy mode, and at the beginning, remember that it's gonna help you a lot. Hit when you see that the things just disappeared. That's when you have to hit it, because if you don't hit right there, it just went through, so you missed it. And obviously it gets faster and faster and harder and more things coming at you. The higher you go in the difficulty, it gets crazier. So begin playing ghost nodes on easy mode. Also, something that helped me sometimes at the beginning when I was playing ghost nodes, other than listening to the song to make sure that I am in sync with how you're hitting the notes with the song, looking at it, because I already we know that when it disappears, when you have to hit, it also helped me in the harder modes. In the harder modes, there are too many of them coming at you, especially in beginning hard mode and maybe even in expert mode, and definitely expert plus. So you're not gonna have time to look at them individually because there are too many. and you might not have time to see when this one is disappearing, oh, and hit, and the other one is disappearing, oh, and hit, because there are too many of them coming at you, so you don't have time for that. So something that helps is to, you know, make like a marker. Once you hit this one here, you know that the other one there is coming over there. So make the hit of this one here sort of like a preparation to hit the next one right too. So you go hit this one there, you already knew the other one was coming there like that, so boom, and you kind of like position yourself in a way where you're already preparing to hit the next one when you're hitting this one. And then you continue doing it like that for all the others. And that though obviously helps. You need to train it. It's not gonna happen right away. But you know, if they're getting too fast, so you cannot look at them individually anymore, and you cannot even notice when they're disappearing to hit, because there are too many of them. That's when you need to begin using other strategies. One of them is that, making sure that you think about hitting this one and hitting the other one as one hit or as one movement, and then position yourself after those two in the right way to make hitting the other ones easier. And it takes training, but that's the idea basically. Okay, the campaign and the trophies. I'm thinking of PS4, PlayStation 4, and the campaign, and all the trophies for the platinum, because I know that, you know, it's Expert Plus and the top 10 is a lot to ask from a lot of people. Maybe you don't want to, you know, to train that hard or to go that far, which is really difficult. But maybe you want to get that platinum trophy, which is hard. I think like less than 1% of the people have it. So it's like one person out of every 100 people that play Beat Saber, but it's still doable. So I'm gonna give you some good tips for that really helped me a lot back then when I wasn't that good, and I still managed to get it. Okay, first the trophies. Go for the easy trophies first. This is common sense. Forget about the gold trophies at the beginning. Don't even look at the gold trophies and the silver ones. Start with the bronze, with the easy stuff. Start with the, you know, easy mode. Oh, use this modifier and the other modifier. Oh, use this. Get this in normal mode, in hard mode. Do that first. Then after that, you get the easy trophies, then you begin looking at the other ones. I recommend not even bothering with the campaign at all. Like, don't even begin the campaign until you feel pretty good playing hard mode. Like, don't even think about the campaign until you can get S rank in a hard mode level. When you can get S rank in a hard mode level, I think you can begin the campaign at that point. Yeah. If you begin a campaign at the beginning, it's gonna feel too difficult. It's gonna frustrate you, and I don't recommend it. So, you know, play in the solo mode, get better. When you're playing pretty comfortably in hard mode, that's when I recommend jumping into the campaign. Finishing the campaign requires being able to play expert mode. So finishing the campaign is pretty hard. It's not easy. That's why I don't even recommend touching it until you know that you can deal with hard mode pretty well. By then, the beginning of the campaign is pretty easy. I still remember that level 9B or something like that was really hard for me because I had never played Disappearing Arrows at that point. The Disappearing Arrows is really not that hard if you're used to playing the faster mode. So if you're used to playing expert mode, Disappearing Arrows in hard mode is doable. If you're used to playing hard mode and you're really good in hard mode already, Disappearing Arrows in normal mode is doable. because you already, your eyes, your reflexes are faster, so you can see them before they disappear, because your reflexes are already at expert mode speed. So you can see the disappearing arrows before they disappear in the hard mode, and you can remember them better. But if your reflexes are not there yet, you forget them, or you're not fast enough with your eyes to be able to see them, so you're gonna do terrible then. So there's like in level 9, there's a disappearing arrows level. If you have difficulty with that, I recommend leaving it for the end of the campaign. By the time you're playing expert mode, that level becomes extremely easy. Okay, so here I am. I'm gonna complete the Beat Saber tutorial that I was giving right now. So let's see where I was. So I was talking about the campaign and the trophies for the campaign. Forget about it until you're doing very well in hard mode. That's when you should begin doing the campaign. If you hit a difficult level in the campaign, like the disappearing arrows one in level 9, don't worry about it, just leave it there and keep going for later. That one in particular gets really easy once you manage to be able to play expert mode levels. You know, by then your reflexes are much faster, they get much faster, so you can just go back there and you will be able to do that one easily, because you can see the disappearing arrows before they disappear, because you're already dealing with a faster speed, which is expert mode. So the lower speed, which is normal, it gets much easier even if you put disappearing arrows there. Doesn't matter, you will be able to see them on time and before they disappear, all that. So the hardest levels in the campaign, in my opinion, were the ones where you had to restrict your movement. So for those levels where you have to restrict your movement, you need to move like really, like here you got the block coming like this, and you have to hit it like, just touch it there and take the saber up to here, not here. You don't have to swing it from up here. On the contrary, you want to have the saber moving basically very small arcs. You just want to be slicing the blocks just right there, so that it doesn't miss them. Those levels are pretty hard. Like I probably can do them well now, but back then it was pretty difficult back then for me. Like I got the platinum, I think I got it in 25 hours. And I remember the hardest for me was getting the first double S in expert mode, the 15 full combos in expert mode, and the completion of all the levels in the campaign. The hardest levels in the campaign were the expert mode ones, where they had restrictions, where you had to like don't hit more than this combo or hit less than that and that kind of stuff, and the ones where they didn't want you to move a lot. They wanted you to less movement than this amount. So for the ones that there's a lot of movement, that's very easy. Just make really huge arcs and continue making the huge arcs even when there are no blocks coming at you. Even if you don't have to hit a block, you can continue swinging the saber and making the arcs, and it counts. So those are really easy. The hard ones are the ones where you have to restrict the movement. For me, those were terrible, because even at the beginning, I was used to using long swings, big swings to score more. So having to restrict that and make like like really small. You know, when the block is coming at you, really small swing. Not a swing, you cannot do a swing. You just have to, you know, like a little bit there. That was terrible, but I managed to pass them, and that's the way to pass them. You just have to make sure that you only move a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, just basically touching them. Let's see what else. Okay, for the trophies, don't forget that for the 15 full combos in expert mode, you can use the slower modifier, and obviously that's gonna make them a lot easier. Don't forget that. You still need to get one without modifiers, but because that is a separate trophy, getting a full combo in expert mode level without modifiers, but that's only one. The 15, you can get them with slower modifier on. I think that many people find those extremely hard because they are trying to get them like me, like I once did at the beginning, without modifiers. So that's a lot harder. Getting 15 full combos in expert mode without modifiers. Even now, I wouldn't do it consecutively one after the other, even now. So the double S rank in expert mode seems extremely difficult at first, but it really isn't if you follow my advice of putting the level in practice mode at a slower speed and learning how to hit all the blocks with at least 110 points with the bigger swings, and basically getting the double S rank in the level at a slower speed before you tackle doing it without modifiers at the normal speed. Also, this is pretty common sense, but I have to say it because it's very important. Play all the expert mode levels and pick the one that you found easiest for you. The one that you found easiest for you to get a full combo and to score high, because you know that you can hit those patterns of blocks in that level easier. That's the one where you want to go for the trophy for the double S, for sure. That's the one you want for that. But you have to play all of them first in order for you to be able to tell. If you don't know, look at the scores that you got in all of them. Look at the ranks. Play through all of them once. And if you can see that there are 2 or 3 that you got an S rank on, or that you did much better on, you're already closer to getting a double S in those. So pick one of those. Those are the ones that you should use for that. The campaign at the end, the campaign at the end is only very difficult because most people will want to try finishing before the 24-hour limit for the last trophy for one of the trophies that takes 24 hours. So people are gonna have a lot of difficulty with the last levels of the campaign in expert mode because they probably haven't played a lot of expert mode yet. After you play a lot of expert mode, then those levels get pretty easy. But if you have only played expert mode for a few hours, you don't have enough training to make those last levels of the campaign easy. So just letting you know, a way to make that easy is just keep playing the game on expert mode and you start getting better and better. And eventually you can just go back there and you can see that they get easier for you. Obviously, if you want to speed it up, play expert mode levels that are a little harder. Even if you're not ready for them yet, then go back to others that are easier, and that's gonna help you a little bit to do better in the other ones. That's one of the strategies that I'm gonna mention again. Okay, so we're gonna talk now about Expert Plus. in Expert Plus. So how do you crack Expert Plus? How do we get into it? Finally, pass an Expert Plus level, enter it. There are several things that you need to keep in mind. Number one, Expert Plus is harder than getting the Platinum Trophy. So first, I highly recommend that before even thinking of Expert Plus, you shoot to get the Platinum Trophy and get it. After you do that, Expert Plus is still really hard, but you already have some training. So after you do that, start playing Expert Mode levels with the faster sound modifier on. So that's gonna help you to start getting used to the faster speed. But Expert Plus is a lot harder than Expert Mode because it is not just much faster. It also has several new arrangements of the blocks that you have never seen before, even in Expert Mode. It's crazy. They come from everywhere. They come from something new that they don't give you in Expert a lot, but they begin coming from above, like diagonally, in all forms of ways that you have not seen before. So you are gonna begin missing those because you're not used to hitting like that. How do you deal? So with the speed, play Expert Mode levels with faster sound on. And I also recommend playing the Expert Plus levels with slower sound on, so that you can start getting used to the faster speed. But to get used to the new arrangements, you have to go into the practice mode. Begin playing the Expert Mode levels in practice mode at 50% speed. When you can pass several of them at 50% speed, go to 60% speed. When you can pass several of them there, then go to 70. And finally, when you get to 80% speed, just try them outside practice mode with the slower modifier on, because I think that that's what the slower modifier is, 80% speed. But at the beginning, you need to go into practice mode and do the Expert Plus levels at 50% speed and play them a lot like that, so that you start getting used to hitting these new patterns of blocks coming diagonally and coming from above, and you know, this crazy patterns that you had not seen yet, even in the Expert mode. So yeah, basically you have to just play it a lot on practice mode at slower speed, and to get used to the faster speed, play Expert Mode levels with faster sound on, and these same Expert Plus levels with a slower modifier on. Also, I'm going to recommend you the Expert Plus levels that I consider the easiest ones. There's no such thing as an easy Expert Plus level. There just isn't. But there are some that are obviously more reasonable than others, that I will call them easier to pass, especially by someone that is just starting to get into it. I think that those are in the Monster Cat pack. Epic in the Monster Cat pack, I think, is the easiest one to pass for the first time. Then Emoji, VIP, and then in the O's one, the original soundtrack one pack, Breezer. It is not a breeze, but it is a little more reasonable to pass than others. So those are the three I recommend: Epic and Emoji in Monster Cat, and Breezer. I think that those are the first Expert Plus levels that are reasonable to pass at the beginning. After you pass those, you can try others, but I think they get harder. And yeah, you just have to stick to it. Like, even for me, it took a long time. I think I passed my first Expert Plus level when I had 90 hours on the clock, I think. And I got the Platinum Trophy for the game in less than 30 hours. So even though by 30 hours I had the Platinum, I didn't pass any Expert Plus level until I reached like 90 hours on the clock. So that already tells you how crazy difficult the Expert Plus mode is. But you know, if you keep playing, if you want to speed it up, if you want to be able to beat one Expert Plus level before 50 hours, good luck. It's gonna be really difficult. But I think if you really want tips for that, begin playing Expert Plus levels at slower speed in the practice mode. So even though it is slower, you begin getting used to the new patterns, which are more difficult. And just begin raising the speed, little by little in the practice mode, until you're ready and you can finally pass it with the slower modifier on outside of practice mode. It might also help you to play the one saber levels, because in my opinion, the one saber levels, even though they say they are expert mode, they are harder than the normal two saber expert mode levels, and just a bit easier than Expert Plus. So if you can you know, pass those and get an S rank in the one saber levels, I think that will also help you a lot for Expert Plus. Yeah, that will help you a lot, especially if you can do it with both hands, because then it will train both of your hands for that. Okay, so now, by the way, this is something that is actually important. Not just for Expert Plus, but also for getting high scores and doing better at any level. I don't like doing this strategy, but I have tried it and it has worked, even for me. And even though I don't like it, so it is a good idea, actually, to try it. And I don't like it because it is more frustrating than fun, but it does work. So one way, let's say you want to get a higher score in Be There For You, in Expert Plus, you want to do better in that one, go and play a harder Expert Plus level, like the Camellia songs. You know, put the no fail modifier on. It doesn't matter if you don't pass it, do your best. The idea is not that level. The idea is that you're gonna do your best in that level, which is much harder, and then right after that, you're gonna go and play the other one that you wanted to do good at, because the other one is easier, and you just came from one which is more difficult. So you're kind of like, you know, more ready to do another one that is like the difficult one that you didn't do well at. But then you play this one which is easier. So what ends up happening is that usually you do better in that easier one than if you played it before without playing the difficult one first. So it's kind of strange. I don't like it because it's kind of like a frustrating approach, and I like to play games for fun, not for frustration. It's like, play this level that you know that's gonna kill you because it is too hard, and you're gonna end up frustrated, and this is crazy. And then go to play the one that you really wanted, because it is easier, and then you're gonna do much better in that easier one. Not 10 times better or anything like that, but maybe you know, a little better than if you didn't play the hard, crazy, frustrating level first. And it might not always work, but it does work sometimes, and I saw it with myself a few times. Like the first time I got a double S rank in Expert Plus was when I did something like that. Like I was trying to pass the Camellia songs, and I was doing terrible at them. But I was also hitting a lot of blocks, nonetheless. And then I went to another level. I don't remember which one it was. It was probably one of the easy ones, like Epic or Emoji VIP. And I managed to get the first S rank I got in Expert Plus. And I think it really helped that I was trying to do something much harder first. So when I lowered the difficulty, I did even better then. So that's a good tip. But I don't like doing it that way only because I don't play the game to be frustrated. I play it to have fun. So usually I just go for one of the normal expert plus levels right now. Back then it used to be one of the normal expert mode levels because I could not do expert plus back then. And I just don't do that much, but it does work a little, so it's worth recommending it. Okay, so one saber levels. How do you tackle the one saber levels? It felt like impossible at first to get a double S rank in those one saber levels, and right now I think I already have like 3 double S ranks. Here's the thing. For the one saber levels, they never tell you it has to be this hand only during the entire level. It's just one saber, but you can switch hands. This is the biggest tip ever from one saber, by the way. Switch hands. Oh, I did half the level. I'm already feeling tired with this hand. It's getting difficult. I'm doing really well, but because you're beginning to feel tired with the hand, you're going to miss something. Switch. The other hand is all new. Begin with the other hand. Obviously, you're gonna have trouble if you're really good with one hand and pretty bad with the other. You're gonna have to train the other hand where you're not so good at. But if you play the one saber levels, switching from one hand to the other when you feel that you're getting tired, they really do get much more doable. They get much more doable because I think one saber levels, what happens is that when you begin to get tired with the same hand, you are just gonna miss something. That's it. But if you switch to the other hand and you're also good with the other hand to continue hitting the blocks right, it really makes the one saber levels a lot easier. A lot easier for sure. Also, the one saber levels, there are many sections where you have to get used to not think of hitting one block at a time, but to think of like a pattern, like boom, 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 boom. Oh, I hit all 5 blocks. That was a pattern for them, because they come like in sections, and there are several of them, and those come like too close, so you don't have time to look at this one now and the other one and the other one. That's too late. You miss all of them already. So you have to see like a section that there are like 4 or 5 close by. So then you're gonna do that section as if it was one move. That helps a lot. Think that way, and you're gonna do that move fast. So if you do it like that, you don't miss any of them. So check out one of the demos. I'm gonna link it here too. That I did shows me getting 2 double S ranks in one saber levels during the demo. So you can see me there in action doing it. What I'm telling you here right now, I do it there. That's why I did the video, so you can see it and not just listen to what I recommend. Okay, no arrows mode. I know. If you have tried no arrows mode, I know how it feels. The no arrows mode, especially the expert mode in no arrows, feels impossible at the beginning. Like you have not played no arrows before, and you click that expert mode no arrows song and you begin to play it, and you all of a sudden you go like, what's happening here? Like it is not harder than expert plus. It isn't, but at the beginning it feels like it is as hard as expert plus. So here's the thing. It was even more impossible 1 year ago when I got the game, because they didn't have easy, normal, and hard modes for no arrows. They only had the expert mode ones. That was total madness. So I completely failed at those at that time and just forgot about them because they seem impossible. But then later they added the easy modes, and then I began to play them. So that's what you have to do to get better and to be able to pass all the levels in the no arrows modes, even in expert. begin on easy mode. Begin on easy mode, folks. Don't try to jump on hard mode and expert mode right away, especially no arrows, because no arrows is crazy. In no arrows, you're gonna have to begin in easy mode. There's just no other way. You're gonna begin seeing new patterns that you had never seen playing with 2 sabers or 1 saber. So no arrows feels really hard at the beginning. There's gonna be even some stuff in the easy mode that's gonna catch you off guard. That's just the way it is. So after you see it a few times, it gets better. How do you deal, however, with expert no arrows mode? Especially with country rounds. Country rounds in no arrows and expert mode, that thing seemed impossible several months ago. When I played it for the first time, I was like, what? What do you do to get past this? You need like 4 hands. You only have 2. What are you gonna do here? There's a good tip for that. By the way, I played that level in demo and I passed it in the demo. I don't know if I passed it with an S rank. I'm not sure. I think it was with an A rank. It was with an A rank. So even now, I cannot pass it with more than an A rank. In the expert no arrows mode, when they throw a bunch of blocks at you, you need to realize that there's no direction for these blocks. You just have to hit them in the dot at the center. So that means that you can just go like this, like slicing like crazy, and by slicing like crazy like that, you actually end up hitting most of them. I should have thought about that before, by the way. When you just try to hit them like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you go like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but they begin coming, there are a lot of them, too many, you miss. And that's it. You probably missed the whole level in that part. But the idea was not trying to hit all of them individually like that. The idea was just slicing pizza, folks. Like, there are too many blocks here and you can hit in any direction. So you know what? Oh, they're all red blocks. This is the red saber. Go crazy with the red saber from left to right there. I did it in the video, by the way. I probably look like a maniac doing that. And you hit most of them. Oh, and by the way, do not play that without the wrist straps on. You know, I can do that now, but I haven't played for a very long time, and I have like reflexes that I don't even have to think. I feel that the controller is going to slip by 2 millimeters, and I feel it before it happens. That's how my reflexes with the controllers have developed. So yeah, for no arrows mode, beginning easy, then go to normal, and to hard, last to expert. Don't be in a hurry, because expert is gonna feel too difficult if you are in a hurry, so don't be. Also, if you want a real challenge, which I really enjoy that one, I think I'm still in several top 10 scores in all the modes, in no arrows, in easy mode, in normal mode, in hard mode, and I think like 2 of them in expert mode too. 1 of them maybe, I think. Which one is it? I don't remember which one it is. I think there are 2 of them that are in there. ValkerianCreator is there in 2 of them. That's me. Play with ghost nodes in no arrows. What a challenge! That's a real challenge, like X Plus, because you only see the dots. I found that pretty interesting, by the way, and the dots disappear too. So it is really. By the way, that really helps. If you think that you're having too much difficulty to score higher, focusing on hitting this triangle at the center, go to the easy mode in the no arrows mode and put ghost nodes on. And for the ghost nodes, hit those dots. It forces you to hit it here at the center, because that's what the dot is. The dot is like the center of the square and the mere center of the triangle. So that will help a little actually to do better in the other hitting in the other modes. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the end of the video now, right now. The end of the video, other recommendations that I haven't mentioned yet. So other recommendations that I haven't mentioned yet, in an expert level Beat Saber tutorial, where we're really covering stuff so that anyone who goes through this and does this can score a lot higher. Drummings. Oh, I hate drummings with a passion. Don't we all hate drummings with a passion? Drummings are like overkill. When you see this whole stream of a bunch of blocks coming, and you have to go like crazy like that, and even when you go like that, you still miss a few bomb. Level failed. It's even now those can be difficult for me, but I can do them in the normal expert mode without problems. The ones that are still too difficult for me are the ones in expert plus. So how did I manage to pass overkill expert plus then, if it has so many drummings and they are really difficult for me? Okay, so here's the thing. Ghost nodes is more difficult to hit blocks for everything except for the drummings, because the drummings in the normal mode, because the blocks are so close together, you cannot see the triangle to be able to see if you're gonna hit them right or not. But with the ghost nodes on, you're not seeing the blocks, you're only seeing the triangles with the directions. So for those drummings, you can see all of them where you have to hit those triangles. All of them become visible. So the drummings become a lot easier, not to ace, they are still hard, but to go through them, to pass them, if you're playing with ghost nodes. So if there is a level, like for example, a really good example of this for me at the beginning was in the expert mode overkill. The overkill song in expert mode, which has two drummings. There are two parts in the song where there's like a big string of that. Well, if that's the only thing that is stopping you from passing the level, play with ghost nodes. The entire level is going to be harder except for those parts, except for the drummings. And obviously, if you're not used to playing ghost nodes, you might not be able to do it. But if you get better at playing ghost nodes and you put on this lower song modifier to help you, and you put on the ghost nodes, you might be able to pass that level like that, even if you cannot pass it without modifiers, normally with the red and blue blocks. And that is what happened to me in expert mode for Ghost. I think Ghost in expert mode is the hardest expert mode level. And I managed to pass it, which is incredible by the way, with slower song and ghost nodes on, but not with the normal blocks, because I had too much trouble with the drummings. But when you use ghost nodes, especially if you can already play other levels in ghost nodes, many of them, you can see those drummings a lot better. So it's much easier not to miss. So you pass them, and you pass the level. That's how I did it, by the way. That's how I did it. It still doesn't help me to play ghost nodes in expert plus ghost. That's just too masochistic and too crazy, even for me. You know, I play for fun at the end of the day. I don't play just for challenging myself, I also play for fun. And when I got to Ghost Expert Plus, I realized that wasn't for fun anymore. That was just, you know, just to put a level there that few people will be able to say that they passed, and I felt that it just wasn't worth it. Memorizing the whole level, because that's what I feel it takes. Memorizing the whole thing, beginning in the slower speeds, and playing it 300 times, and I just didn't find that fun. So I didn't do that. I only played it like I don't know, like 20 times maybe. Like something that I thought, you know what, that's it. I managed to get through halfway through the level, but when the drummings began in that level, even with Ghost Notes, I couldn't pass it. It was too crazy. I can pass the level in practice mode, even at 60% speed. I think it's one of the videos I uploaded. One of the videos I uploaded was Expert Plus goes at 60% speed. And there was some guy there asking me, why don't you train a little harder or something like that, and uploaded at 100% speed. I was like, guy, you have no idea of the difference between 60% speed Ghost and 100% speed Ghost. It's like night and day. It's like easy mode and expert mode. It's too different. The change in speed, it really kills you. It's too much. So that's it for the drummings. Play in Ghost Notes. Ghost Notes make the drummings easier. Everything else is harder in Ghost Notes, but the drummings are easier. Tough sections. For the tough sections in any level, there are many levels in expert mode that are not hard, but there's like one part in the level that like 5 seconds or 10 seconds that has like a section there that is really hard. Play that section in practice mode. Put it there, right there, right before it begins. Lower the speed so that you can see how you need to swing to be able to get through that. And when you get it, raise the speed. See if you can do it then. And raise the speed more and see if you can do it then until you can do it at 80% speed. So if you can do it at 80% speed, what does that mean? You can do it outside practice mode with the slower modifier on. So just go for it. Time. Well, this is a big deal, time. It's just the way it is. This Beat Saber game is a lot like a sport. It feels a lot like a sport. So even with all these tips I'm giving you, even with all this advice, even if you're really good, you need to dedicate some time. If you don't dedicate any time, you're just not gonna get, to the Platinum Trophy or to Expert Plus or even to most of the Expert Mode songs. You still need to dedicate, at least 30 hours to it. And 30 hours is too little for the hardest stuff in this game. I didn't manage to seriously tackle the hardest stuff in the game, like Expert Plus and no arrows in Expert Mode and that kind of stuff until I had 100 hours in the clock. And that was like 10 months after I got the game. So it wasn't until 10 months later that I actually got good enough, despite knowing all these tips, to even get there and pass all that. Okay, here's the last piece of advice. If you want this game for exercise, okay, I hope the video continued. Something popped on the screen. I hope the video didn't stop for that. Play One Saber mode. I found One Saber mode really good to exercise with one hand and then the other hand, and then the other, and then the other. I could feel it on my muscles that the best workout in Beat Saber, I was getting it when I was playing One Saber mode. Expert Plus also works, but Expert Plus is pretty crazy. So at first, I honestly recommend, if you wanted to exercise, go into One Saber. If One Saber is too hard for you, put the slower modifier on and just begin playing then with slower modifier on. If it is still too hard for you with slower, go into practice mode and play the One Saber levels at like 60% speed or something like that. It's worth it. It's worth it to play One Saber like that. It really helps. That's it. So I think this is gonna end up being like 1 hour and a half. So I basically gave one full class, you know, like a college class, like something like that in a classroom, on how to score better in Beat Saber, how to do better in the game, how to get some ideas to get through the hard levels. Not through Ghost Expert Plus. Even I haven't done that, and I am not interested in doing it, to be honest. If there is anyone that is interested in doing Expert Plus Ghost, I can recommend you something. I mean, I know what can be done, but I just don't want to. It would be like frustrating for me to dedicate that much time to it. Play Expert Mode songs in practice mode at 130% speed. So that's gonna prepare you for Ghost, because it is much higher. The speed in Ghost is like 150% speed of a normal Expert Plus level. So just play the normal Expert Plus levels at 150% speed in practice, which is crazy, but keep doing that, and I'm guessing that after 50 hours of doing that, you're most likely ready to beat Ghost. Congratulations. I'm not gonna do that, by the way. So, but the same thing works the other way around for the easier levels. Like for example, let's say you want to get into expert mode, but you're finding it difficult. Begin to play hard mode songs with faster song on, and expert mode songs with slower song on. Let's say you want to get into Expert Plus, but you find it too difficult. Begin to play Expert Plus songs inside the practice mode at 50% speed or 60, and begin to play the normal expert songs with the faster song modifier on. Eventually, you're gonna be able to crack one of the easy Expert Plus levels if you do that a lot, because you're gonna begin getting those reflexes. And remember, in my opinion, the easiest Expert Plus levels to pass first are in the Monster Cat pack. They are Epic. I think Epic is the easiest one to pass first. Then Emoji VIP, and then Breezer in the original OS 1 pack. But I think Breezer might be a little bit harder than Epic. So Epic, in my opinion, is the first one. And that's it. If you have any other question that you think I might be able to help you with, that you think that the ValkerianCreator can help you with, ask the question here in this video. This video is going to be like a class, like a college class for Beat Saber stuff. I will be able to do that, by the way. Oh yes, I just need like better sabers there to show the people, and actually, but I'm not gonna do that. This is gonna be enough. I'm planning to do this as my last video in the Beat Saber playlist. I always do this for all the playlists. Like when I had the playlist where I was reading the books, the Unicorn Chronicles, there are 4 books there, and I was kind of like dissecting a lot of philosophical stuff in them and using them for other discussions. And I made a playlist with a bunch of videos about that. I finished that playlist with a really special video saying a lot of ideas that I had to make a 5th book in that series, and I just made a video of that. So I closed the playlist with gold, with something that was really good for anyone that liked the other videos. So what I'm gonna do for this Beat Saber playlist is this video. 1 hour and a half of a really good Beat Saber tutorial full of tips from someone that managed to get into those top 10s in PSVR. I am not like the PC people. the PC people are, well, they already have the game. They had the game like years before. There are so many great players in PC. I am like at hard mode in comparison to those people. Those people are in Expert Plus. I am in hard mode, even though I already play Expert Plus in PSVR. And that's it. That's it. I think I'm honestly very satisfied with how far I got into that game. I feel that I surpassed what I thought I could do in that game, and that was very satisfying. I would have never ever expected that I was going to be able to get a double S rank in Expert Plus 1 year ago, when I couldn't even get a double S rank in hard mode, because it seemed impossible back then. So, you know what? It's like any sport. After 100 hours of practice, hitting that ball the right way, you're ready for the tournament. You know, you get better. This is the same thing, which is, I think, the main reason why Beat Saber has gotten so popular, and so many people love PSVR, and I think it's the most popular VR game. Yeah, I think so. It is because it feels like a sport. So, and you can use it to exercise, which is really great. By the way, get a sweatband for your head and for the headset, so that you don't mess up the headset if you use it not for high scores or for trophies or for anything like that, but if you just want Beat Saber to exercise, which I bet many people will want it for that, get a sweatband and try the One Saber mode. I think it's great for exercising, and that's pretty much it. I think let me know, but I think I did a pretty good tutorial for this. All the other tutorials, they just left me disappointed. They have some good tips, but it's not enough. It's not enough to really help to get people to crack this mode and to play the other mode, and it just doesn't work. You know, like in One Saber, I am surprised that I haven't heard anyone say switch the saber from one hand to the other. Switch the saber. It's one saber, but not just one hand. You can just switch hands. And yeah, if you want to get into the top 10s, it's really hard, but it is doable. You know, if you have patience, I recommend thinking about the top 100 first and beginning in easy mode. When you're getting into the top 100 in easy mode, go to normal. You might even find that it is easier to get in the top 100 in normal than in easy, because when you raise the speed, I think that there are less people that compete there. But the only exception is Expert Plus. Getting in the top 100, I got into, I think, 2 or 3 top 100s. I think one of them was for Epic, the song Epic in Expert Plus. It's really hard. It is really hard. I did try to get into a top 10 for Expert Plus, and I got into one top 50. It's probably a 51 or 52 right now, because there's so many people that have entered the ranks, but it's really difficult. It's really difficult. You basically have to play with. By the way, before I finish the video, I'm gonna give you this tip, because it does. If you want those top 10s, it really matters. Don't even bother up to expert mode. If you want that top 10, don't even bother not playing with faster song on and with ghost song on, because most of the scores in the top 10 are already playing like that, and they are doing well playing like that. So you have to do the same if you want to get there, otherwise you don't get there. If you play with disappearing arrows, you don't make enough points with disappearing arrows. The only exception where you can still get in a top 10 with disappearing arrows and faster song on believe it or not, is in the no arrows expert modes. You can still do it there. I think it is still possible in expert plus, but I wouldn't recommend it because you probably need a full combo with disappearing arrows and faster sound on, which is really crazy. It is actually easier, I think, to do it with ghost notes and faster sound, and to be able to miss some of those notes which you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss some. I didn't manage to do it. It's really tough. But if anyone is interested in top 10 in Expert Plus, that's what you need to do. Another good tip to know which top 10s are more doable is multiply the number of blocks in the song times 1000. That score, let's say there are 500 blocks in the song, you multiply times 1000, you get 500,000 as the score. That score, anything above that 500,000 for that level with ghost notes and faster sound on, it's gonna be really hard to achieve. So if you look at the top 10 and you see that the number 10, the guy at the bottom of the top 10 for that song has 504,000 points, it's gonna be super duper hard to be able to get into that top 10. But if you look at the guy in the 10 and 9 spots, whoever is there, it could be a girl, you never know. There are some really good girls there. There are some things that are obviously girls if you read them. If you see those in the top 10 and you multiply that score of the number of blocks in the song, and those scores are below what you get in that multiplication, that means that it is possible to get in that top 10 with ghost notes, faster song, and without getting a perfect full combo. However, if even the top 1 and top 2 and 3 places in the list didn't go beyond that multiplication of points of the number of blocks in the level times 1000, you're not gonna go beyond that either. That means that it was so hard for everyone that even the top 1 player didn't manage to get a full combo. So that means it's, you know, it's a really hard level. So hard that no one got a full combo there. But you know, if you see that the top people, the top 5, are above that number, and the people in number 10, number 9, number 8 are below that number, it's possible to get in that top 10. Especially if it is in hard mode, in expert mode. I mean, if you're already at that level, it can be done. I'm just using the game for fun and for warm up for exercising nowadays. I'm really not competing that much to get many more of that scores, but I did enjoy it when I was in my time of challenging myself, and I am glad that I'm making this tutorial for everyone now. I'm pretty sure this is gonna work, everything that I gave here as advice, not only for the PS4, PSVR people, but for anyone, even for the PC people. So if for the PS4 people, you know, if you really love the game and you're a really nice person that wants to have me as a friend, the ValkerianCreator, who is really a guy that is you know, as a hobby, I am an author basically, and I am into academic things as a job as well. So if you want that kind of person as a Beat Saber friend, you can look for me there. You can you know, send me a nice message, and if I see that you have a nice profile there with at least a few trophies and you look like a nice person, I will gladly add you there. You can compare my scores and see how I did. you're gonna see that I'm not perfect in everything. That's something that most people don't know. You see those people in the top 10s and you think those people, oh, they got like perfect scores everywhere. Not necessarily. Like I have many really good scores everywhere, but I also have others where I didn't do well. So most people are not perfect. And that's something that you don't know about Beat Saber unless you see all the individual scores for all the levels that this guy or this girl has. So enjoy it, enjoy the game, and I hope that my tips really help you to raise your level in it. I know they will. Have a nice day and enjoy then.